Hi everyone. I have another story I'd like to tell you in terms of impacting or changing people's lives. This is maybe, at this point, probably 5 or 6 years ago or more. We travel a decent amount for work because we enjoy and prefer being face-to-face with teams we're working with. I am coming back from Columbus, Ohio, and I'm flying Southwest, and I try to fly Southwest anytime I can because I just have always appreciated their humor and their customer service. So I'm flying Southwest, and before we get on the plane, the gate agent makes an announcement in advance that it's a pretty empty flight. And so you can spread out, you'll have a whole row to yourself, and makes that announcement. And so I would start by asking any of you watching this, how would you feel when you heard that announcement? You probably would be filled with a sense of relief. You'd be excited. You'd be thinking to yourself, oh, thank God, yes. Versus being, on a packed flight. You either have a middle seat or you got, people next to you. And you just are excited to have some peace and quiet and a break. I get on the plane. Because of our amount of travel, I'm one of the first to board. I sit down, and the very last person coming on the plane is carrying a backpack, and he sits down in the seat right next to me. And if you've come to our 3-day leadership retreat, you've probably heard me tell this story. It's one of the most impactful from my life. So he sits down in the seat right next to me. Now what would you be thinking? What would your feeling of relief and excitement having a whole row to yourself turn to with this individual who, in your mind, your opinion, has the nerve to sit right next to you? And you might get annoyed, bothered, frustrated. Maybe you even get up and you move, you change your seat. Or you could keep an open mind, live your life with curiosity, and lean in. You might think to yourself, this is an opportunity that God, life just presented me. So I took the opportunity to lean in. Rather than put my headphones on, bury myself in a show, a series I'm binging, or a book I'm reading, I took the opportunity to lean in. And I asked him one question. I said, hey man, you heading home? He said, no. He said, I'm going to bury my wife. Come again? I'm sorry? He patted his backpack and he said, yeah, I'm going to bury my wife. He had her ashes in his backpack, and he was traveling to their favorite beach that they used to go on vacation to together, and he was going to spread her ashes at the beach. And in that instant, that opportunity became or presented to me the importance of making an impact and helping him through a really difficult time. So the next 50 minutes to an hour is probably one of the most emotional, deepest conversations I've had with a stranger, someone I have never met. Most of the conversation spent in tears. And my mission, my job was to listen. I asked questions about his wife, what she was like. I encouraged him to think about what he needed to do to keep her legacy alive. And what would she want if she could look down from heaven and see him, what would she want to see him do with the rest of his life? She was 57 years old and passed away from a massive brain aneurysm. So it also wasn't expected. He didn't see this coming. It totally blindsided him. And it was a really difficult time. I mean, that's hell. But sometimes you have to go through hell to find what true love and hope means. You got to keep hope alive. And so after the 50 minutes of conversation we had, that was life-changing for me. The plane landed, everybody else got off the plane. We did not. We just sat there. Couldn't move. I got up. He got up. I gave him a big hug. And I said to him, I'm so sorry you're going through this. But I just want you to know that no matter where I am in the world, no matter what I'm doing, I will be thinking about you and your wife and wishing you the absolute best. I know you're going through hell right now, but I will be with you and I will be thinking about you. And he looked at me, he gave me another big hug, and he said, I don't know what to say to you other than I love you. And I said, I love you too. And again, we're busy. We all have a lot going on in our lives. You don't know what somebody else has going on. We're all going through stuff. Lean in. Take the opportunity that life and God presents you. You don't know when it's going to happen. You never know the kind of impact you can have. But if you leave a legacy behind, what do I want my legacy, part of my legacy to be left behind? What do I want to be remembered for? Is helping people through a tough time. Being there for them. Being a friend. That's a big part of what I want my legacy to be remembered as. And so I share that with you on don't judge, don't jump to a conclusion. Don't develop and create all these false narratives in your head. There is a reason why that gentleman sat next to me on that plane that day. I went home and shared that story with my wife. She said the same thing. She said, there's a reason why he sat next to you. And I'd like to believe that that's true. And even if it's just pure serendipity, life gave me an opportunity. God presented an opportunity for me to make a difference, and I took it. And I'm glad I did. So I hope all of you do.